10 Tips for Winterizing Your Landscape with Sarah Browning and Kathleen Q from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln Extension. Winterizer fertilizers are applied to cool season grasses like Kentucky bluegrass and tall fescue about the time of the last mowing, usually late October or early November. Use a rate of 1 to 1.25 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet and select a fertilizer with at least 50% slow-release nitrogen. The tall fescue lawn in the foreground received a late fall fertilizer application, while the lawn in the back did not. Significant difference in spring greenup is one of the many benefits of a winterizer fertilizer application. Prevent winter desiccation injury or winter drying and promote good root development with fall tree irrigation. Evergreen plants are particularly susceptible to winter drying since they continue to lose moisture through their needles throughout the winter. These plants are showing needle dieback and branch tip dieback due to winter drying injury. Young trees such as this pyramidal yew and mature trees can both benefit from fall tree irrigation. Water when air temperatures are above 40 degrees and early enough in the day for water to soak into the ground. Moisten the soil 8 inches deep at the drip line of the tree and move your sprinklers around the trees as needed to moisten the entire root system. Anti-transpirants or anti-desiccants can also help protect evergreens from winter desiccation injury, both needled evergreens and broadleaf evergreens such as holly and mahonia. Most anti-transpirants are an emulsion of wax, latex, or plastic that forms a thin film on foliage to minimize water loss. Plants growing in windy exposed locations or newly transplanted trees are most benefited. Read and follow label recommendations, including plant species that products can be applied to avoid any possible toxicity problems. Also, reapply the product as recommended on the label throughout the winter months. Apply the product to the point of runoff and then allow it to dry. Protect young trees and shrubs with barriers of hardware cloth that extend at least 3 feet above the usual snow line. Be sure to use a gauge of wire mesh small enough to protect the type of wildlife damage most common in your landscape. Various taste repellents such as Thyram or Miller's hot sauce can be effective in reducing wildlife damage as long as animals have other food sources. As food sources become scarce, wildlife damage becomes more likely. Successful composting begins with using the right materials. Composting can be done in many ways, but always utilizes green materials such as grass clippings or kitchen scraps, and brown materials such as tree leaves or straw. Chopping plant debris into smaller pieces increases their surface area and speeds decomposition. Keep the pile moist and turn it frequently. Meat, bones, grease, whole eggs, and dairy products should not be added as they attract rodents and other wildlife. Finished compost looks like black dirt and can be used as a soil amendment or as mulch. For more information and step-by-step instructions on composting, visit the UNL Extension Publications website and search for garden composting. Rake or mow tree leaves on a regular basis. Heavy layers of tree leaves can smother or kill grass, and also create conditions favorable for snow mold. If leaves are not used for compost, the easiest way to dispose of them is to mow them into the turf. Cool season turf grasses require mowing well into the fall, so regular mowing will chop leaves into small pieces. After mowing, the pulverized leaves should not cover the turf, but filter into turf grass so green grass blades are exposed. Research at Purdue and other Midwest universities shows that shallow layers of tree leaves can be mulched without any detrimental effects on the soil or turf. Insects that are brought into the home on firewood, such as ants, termites, or centipedes, are often a concern for homeowners. However, as a rule, these insects are nuisance insects and cannot survive inside the home. Even borer-type tree pests, like this banded ash borer, will not attack or damage finished wood inside the home. To avoid insects from leaving firewood indoors, only bring in a small amount of wood as it is needed. Do not store large amounts of firewood in the home. If the wood is kept below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, insects inside of it will remain dormant. Apply winter mulch after soil begins to freeze, or when night temperatures are consistently in the 20s, usually late November or December. Winter mulch prevents damage to plant roots from the freeze-thaw cycle, which can result in frost heaving of poorly rooted plants. Use a 12-inch layer of coarse mulch over the tops of susceptible plants. Encircling plants or beds with chicken wire and filling the enclosure with coarse mulch such as wood chips or oak leaves also works well. Dig tender bulbs and bulb-like plants such as cannas, dahlias, tuberous begonias, and gladiolas, since they are not winter hardy. Dig bulbs after the foliage dies or dries up or is killed by frost. Place the roots in a shallow box or tray and store them in a cool, dry place. Finally, protect clay pots, water features, and statuary. Clay and ceramic pots can absorb water, causing them to break during freezing weather. Store them indoors to prevent freeze damage. Remove pumps from water features to prevent ice damage. Siphon out any excess water and cover fountains to prevent more moisture accumulation over the winter months. Statuary that could be damaged by ice and snow should be covered and brought indoors. For more information on winterizing your landscape, contact your local UNL Extension office.